when the fluorescent lights flicker at 2 a.m. in the corridors of St. Vincent Medical Center. The atmosphere changes. The sterile smell becomes more intense, the silence more oppressive, and the walls seem to close in on you. I am about to share 3 real experiences that took place within these walls, experiences that will cause you to question everything you normally take for granted in the flow of life when people are asleep. Are you ready to uncover what lies behind medical records and beneath hospital beds? Because after hearing these stories, you will never look at hospitals the same way again. Story 1. The Voice in Room 314. My name is Jessica Martinez. I'm 32 years old, and I drive a white 2019 Honda CR-V that I park in spot B7 every night when I arrive for my shift. I've been working as a night nurse at St. Vincent Medical Center in downtown Austin, Texas for exactly 8 years and 4 months. I'm 5 feet 6, weigh about 140 pounds, and I've always been the type of person who handles stress pretty well. You have to be in this job. I work the graveyard shift, 11 p.m. to 7 a.m., and I actually prefer it to the chaos of day shifts. At least, I used to prefer it. Last Thursday night started like any other. I clocked in at 10:58 p.m., grabbed my usual large coffee from the vending machine on the second floor, black, no sugar, and began my rounds. My assigned wing has 24 rooms, and I know every patient by name, every medication schedule by heart. Room 314 had been empty for exactly 12 days after our previous patient. An elderly woman named Margaret Flores passed away peacefully in her sleep. The room had been deep cleaned, sanitized, and was ready for a new admission. The bed was made with fresh white linens, the medical equipment had been replaced, and there was absolutely no reason for anyone to be in there. At exactly 12:47 a.m., I remember checking my Apple Watch, because I always log my rounds. I was passing by 314 when I heard something that made my blood run cold. It was a voice, clear as day, coming from inside the room. Jessica, honey, can you come here for a minute? I couldn't react. My heart started beating so fast that I could feel it in my throat. It was impossible because the voice sounded exactly like Mrs. Flores, the same slight Spanish accent, the same gentle tone she always used when asking for help adjusting her pillows or requesting an extra blanket. I tried to rationalize it. Maybe it was the TV in the next room, maybe another patient calling out. But deep down, I knew what I'd heard, and I knew whose voice it was. Hello. I called out softly, my hand trembling as I reached for the door handle. Is someone in there? Yes, Mia, it's me. I'm so cold. Can you bring me another blanket? My hands were shaking now. Mrs. Flores had always called me Mia, little girl, even though I was probably older than her daughter. She'd been dead for almost 2 weeks. I slowly pushed the door open. The room was completely dark, except for the faint green glow from the monitors that had been left plugged in. The bed was empty, perfectly made, undisturbed. Mrs. Flores, I whispered, feeling completely insane for talking to an empty room. Margaret, is that you? I'm right here, honey, right here in my bed. Why won't you look at me? The voice was coming from the bed, but there was nothing there. Nothing at all. I fumbled for the light switch, my heart hammering against my ribs. Please, Jessica. I'm so cold. Just one more blanket. You were always so kind to me. When the fluorescent lights flickered on, I saw something that still haunts me. The bed was no longer empty. There was an indentation in the mattress, exactly the shape of a small elderly woman. The pillow had a head-shaped depression in it, and slowly, as I watched in horror, the blanket began to move, rising and falling, as if someone was breathing underneath it. Thank you for coming, Mia. I knew you wouldn't forget about me. Without even having the chance to catch my breath, I turned around and ran. I turned around completely and ran down that corridor faster than I had ever run in my life, my white nurse's shoes squeaking on the linoleum floor. I didn't stop until I reached the nurse's station, where my colleague Marcus found me hyperventilating. Jess, what the hell happened? You look like you've seen a ghost. Marcus Williams is 29, built like a linebacker, and has been working here for 6 years. If anyone could handle hearing about this, it was him. I told him everything. About the voice, about Mrs. Flores, about the indentation in the bed. Marcus listened without interrupting, Then he did something I didn't expect. Jess, Mrs. Flores, died on a Thursday night, exactly 2 weeks ago. Same time you heard the voice tonight. She died calling for you, asking for one more blanket, because she was cold. I still get chills thinking about it. That night, I couldn't bring myself to walk past 314 again. I asked Marcus to handle that section of the wing, and I've been avoiding that room ever since. Have you ever felt like you heard the voice of someone you lost in the past or recently? Some patients say that they left a part of themselves behind in the rooms where they spent their final moments. Do you believe this too? Or was it just my mind playing tricks on me after 8 years of night shifts? If you've had a similar experience, or an incident you thought was a hallucination, you can tell me about it in the comments. Maybe then I'll see that I'm not alone, and maybe someone will believe me. Story 2. The security camera incident. My name is David Chen. I am 35 years old, and like Jessica Martinez, I work as a night security guard at St. Vincent Medical Center. My shift starts at 10:30 p.m. every night. I park my car and greet the last patients, leaving with a polite nod as I walk slowly to my work area. Dr. Robert Geller usually leaves around the time I arrive, and we meet at the door. I am 6 feet 2 inches tall, weigh 194 pounds, and with 6 years of security experience at this location. Getting hired at the hospital wasn't difficult. 6 years at St. Vincent, and 6 years at other facilities around Austin. I thought I'd seen everything. Break-ins, medical emergencies, confused patients wandering the halls, family members who couldn't handle bad news. But what happened 3 weeks ago in the basement morgue area changed everything I thought I knew about this place. St. Vincent's morgue is located in sub-basement level B2, accessible only by a freight elevator and one stairwell that requires a security keycard. The area houses our temporary morgue facility. We're not a major medical examiner's office, but we do store deceased patients for up to 72 hours before they're transferred to funeral homes or the county morgue. On Tuesday night, October 15th, at exactly 3:17 a.m., every motion detector in the morgue area went off simultaneously. My security board lit up like a Christmas tree. 12 different alerts from 12 different sensors. This had never happened before in all my years here. In one swift move, I opened the live camera feed on my monitor. What I saw made me unable to take my hands off the keyboard. All the cameras in the morgue corridor were showing the same thing. A small figure, about the size of a child, slowly moving down the corridor. But what sent a chill down my spine was this. The figure was completely transparent. I could see the wall behind it. Was this just an optical illusion? What the hell? ... I muttered, leaning closer to the screen. The figure stopped directly in front of camera 7, which monitors the main morgue entrance. It turned toward the camera, and I swear, on my mother's grave, it looked directly at me through the screen. I couldn't make out facial features clearly, but I could see the outline of a small person, maybe 10 or 11 years old, wearing what looked like a hospital gown. Then it spoke. Through the intercom system connected to the cameras, I heard a child's voice, crystal clear. Mr. David. Mr. David, I can't find my mummy. She said she'd be right back. I knew that voice. 3 days earlier, we'd had a tragic case. An 11-year-old girl named Emma Rodriguez had been brought in after a car accident. She'd been asking for her mother, right up until the end. Her mother had died in the same accident, but Emma didn't know that. The medical staff never had the chance to tell her. My training told me to investigate, but every instinct in my body told me to stay exactly where I was. Emma, I said into the intercom microphone, feeling ridiculous, but unable to stop myself. Emma, is that you? Yes. You remember me? I've been looking everywhere for my mommy. The nurses said she went to get something from the car, but she's been gone for so long. I'm scared, Mr. David. During Emma's time in the ICU, I'd talked to her a few times when I was doing my rounds. Kids always seem to like security guards. I think the uniform makes them feel safe. She'd told me about her favorite stuffed rabbit, about how excited she was for her birthday next month, about how her mom made the best chocolate chip cookies in the world. Emma, sweetheart, I said, my voice cracking slightly, you need to go toward the light. Your mommy is waiting for you there, but I can't see any light, Mr. David. It's so dark down here, and it's cold. I don't like the cold. On the monitor, I watched the translucent figure move closer to the camera. The motion detectors were still going crazy, but now they were showing a heat signature, a small, child-sized warm spot moving through the corridor. "Please, Mr. David, can you help me find her? I promise I'll be good. I won't run around the halls anymore like Mommy said not to." I made a decision that goes against every protocol in the security manual. I left my post, took the elevator down to B2, and walked into that morgue corridor with nothing but my flashlight and my radio. The hallway was empty. Stone cold, completely silent, and empty. But as I stood there, I felt a small hand slip into mine. Not grabbing, just holding my hand, the way a scared child would. "Thank you for coming to find me, Mr. David." I stood there for maybe 3 minutes, holding the hand of someone I couldn't see, in a basement morgue at 3 a.m. And then, slowly, the hand let go. I can see the light now. I can see my mommy. She's waving at me. The motion detectors stopped beeping. The cameras showed an empty hallway, and for the first time in 3 days, the morgue area was completely quiet. I have been working as a security guard for 12 years and have never experienced anything like this. I have never heard of such incidents happening at this hospital from anyone else, but I know very well how I feel and what I hear. I think that children, especially when they leave this world, don't actually understand it and believe they are still here. They are just looking for someone to help them find their way home. Otherwise, these actions are impossible. Could children who die in hospitals be unaware that they have passed on to the other world? Do you think this is possible, as I do? Have you ever felt the presence of someone who is no longer physically in this world? I wonder if others have experienced something similar, because I still think about little Emma every night during my shift. Story 3. The elevator on the 7th floor. My name is Rachel Thompson. I am 28 years old, and I work as a surgical technician at St. Vincent Medical Center. Despite my friends telling me it's dangerous, I ride my 1000cc motorcycle to and from the hospital, regardless of the weather. What a pleasure. I've been working here for 5 years, and usually have a quiet, peaceful day, especially during the day shift. However, last month, I took on a few more night shifts to cover my wedding expenses. I'm getting married to my fiancé Mike in 6 months, and weddings are expensive. St. Vincent's has 7 floors above ground, plus 2 basement levels. The 7th floor has been under renovation for the past 8 months. It used to house the pediatric ward, but they moved all those services to the new children's wing that opened last year. The entire floor has been gutted. No electricity, no water, no heat or air conditioning. It's basically just concrete floors, exposed wiring, and construction equipment. Hospital policy strictly prohibits anyone from accessing the 7th floor without proper authorization and safety equipment. On Saturday night, November 2nd, at around 11:45 p.m., I was finishing my shift. I was assisting with an emergency surgery a 22-year-old motorcycle accident victim, who, thankfully, would make a full recovery. It should have been a lesson to me, but I was enjoying the work and never thought about dying. I was exhausted, my feet were aching, and all I wanted was to get in my car and go to my apartment on the east side of Austin. I called the elevator from the main bank on the 4th floor, where the operating rooms are located. When the doors opened, I stepped inside and pressed the button for the ground floor. Nothing unusual about that. I've done it hundreds of times before. But instead of going down, the elevator started going up. I pressed the ground floor button again, then hit it several more times. Nothing. The elevator kept climbing, 5th floor, 6th floor, and then it stopped at 7, with a soft ding. The doors opened. I was looking into the 7th floor, which should have been completely dark and under construction. Instead, I saw something that made no sense whatsoever. The hallway was fully lit with soft, warm lighting. The walls were painted a cheerful yellow color with cartoon animals stenciled along the borders. I could hear children laughing and playing, the sound of toys being scattered around, and nurses talking in gentle, soothing voices. "Come on, sweetie. Time for your medicine. Can I have one more story before bed, please? Mommy will be back after you have your nap." This was impossible. The pediatric ward had been moved 8 months ago. The 7th floor was supposed to be an empty construction zone. I stood in that elevator doorway for maybe 30 seconds, trying to process what I was seeing. Then a nurse walked past the elevator, a woman in her 50s, wearing the old-style white nursing uniform that we haven't used at St. Vincent's in over 10 years. She had kind eyes and graying hair pulled back in a neat bun. She looked directly at me and smiled. "Are you here to visit someone, dear? Visiting hours are almost over, but I think we can make an exception." I think there's been a mistake," I stammered. "This floor is supposed to be under construction." "Construction?" She looked confused. "Oh honey, we've been here for 23 years. This is the pediatric ward. Are you feeling all right? You look a little pale." Behind her, I could see children's rooms, with nightlights glowing softly. Hear the beeping of medical equipment, and see the shadows of small figures moving around in their beds. It looked exactly like a functioning children's hospital ward. "What year is it?" I asked, feeling completely insane. 1998, dear. November 2nd, 1998. Are you sure you're feeling all right? That's when I realized what was happening. November 2nd, 1998 was exactly 25 years ago to the day. On that night, there had been a devastating fire on the 7th floor. 12 children and 4 staff members had died in that fire, which is why the hospital eventually moved the pediatric services to a different building entirely. "Nurse," I said slowly, "I think there's going to be a fire tonight. You need to evacuate everyone right now." Her expression changed immediately. The kindness in her eyes was replaced by urgency and fear. "A fire? How do you know? Are you from the fire department? Please, just trust me. Get all the children out of here. Get everyone out now." She turned and started running down the hallway, calling out in a voice that was both authoritative and scared. "Code red, code red. All staff initiate evacuation procedures immediately." This is not a drill. I could hear alarms starting to sound, children crying, and the rapid footsteps of medical staff running through the corridors. The nurse looked back at me one more time. "Thank you," she said. "Thank you for warning us." The elevator doors slowly closed, and I felt the car descending. When it reached the ground floor and the doors opened again, I was back in the present-day St. Vincent's Medical Center. The lobby was quiet, the night shift skeleton crew was at their posts, and everything was exactly as it should be in 2023. I've done a lot of research since that night. The fire on November 2nd, 1998, started at 11:52 p.m., 7 minutes after I warned that nurse. According to the newspaper reports, the evacuation procedures began at 11:50 p.m. to 2 minutes before the fire started, which gave everyone just enough time to get out safely. But that's not what actually happened 25 years ago. 12 children and 4 staff members died in that fire because the alarms malfunctioned and the evacuation started too late. I think somehow, some way, I was given the chance to change history, to give those people the warning they never received. And maybe, just maybe, in some version of reality, those 16 people made it home safely that night. I felt like I was experiencing time displacement. It was as if I wasn't in my own time. Did you feel that way too? Did you want to change events from the past, even if they were on a different timeline? If that were possible, I would definitely do it. What about you? I still can't fully understand what happened to me that night, so it still feels scary to me. Did you feel the same way I did? These 3 stories all happened within the walls of St. Vincent Medical Center here in Austin, Texas. 3 different people, 3 different times, but all connected by the same mysterious energy that seems to permeate this place after midnight. Do you think hospitals collect the memories of everyone who passes through their doors? Are these just coincidences, or is there something more supernatural going on? I'm sure someone in your family or among your close friends has encountered such incidents, and there are others like them. I would like to hear your thoughts and experiences, because sometimes sharing these stories helps us realize that we are not the only ones who have experienced the inexplicable. So, did you work the night shift at St. Vincent Medical Center like other people? Share your thoughts with me, because I read every one, and who knows, maybe your experience will be included in my next collection of real hospital stories.